right, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown, and the show is called Redemption Rehab. Today, we're taking a look at the rookies coming in to the 2026 NFL Draft that are going to impact fantasy football this year and for years to come. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
Okay, here we are taking a look at the rookie running backs coming into the 2026 NFL Draft. Behind me on the screen for the 7th year in a row is a website called drafttech.com. They're going to rank the players in the order that they think will be taken in this year's NFL Draft, starting with this guy, Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. He's 6 foot, 212-pound junior. He ran a 4.36 40-yard dash at the combine. People are all over this guy because of how good he is. He won the 2025 Doak Walker Award for Best Running Back in college football. He was third in the Heisman Trophy race in 2025 behind quarterbacks Fernando Mendoza and Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt. In 41 games over 3 years, he had 433 attempts for 2,882 yards with a 6.1 yard average and a whopping 36 TDs. He also managed to catch 63 passes for 594 yards and a 9.4 yard average with another 6 TDs. He is the quintessential third down back. He does everything well. Not only does he run well, but he can catch the ball, and he's a very good pass blocker. So he is a 3-down back. You're going to hear that a lot today. Running a 4.36 in the 40-yard dash doesn't hurt either. He will be the first pick in all your Dynasty League drafts. He's an easy top 10 pick in the NFL draft. And he's going to go early in all your redraft leagues. You better get used to hearing the words Jeremiah Love at running back in fantasy football because he's going to be around a long, long time. Other guys we like, as you can see here, they've got Jadarian Price, who is also out of Notre Dame, and he was a teammate of Jeremiah Love. Let's check him out. Jadarian Price at Notre Dame, man, 5'11", 203, redshirt junior. Played 3 years next to running back Jeremiah Love. Jadarian Price ran a 4.5 40-yard dash at the combine. He also played in 41 games over 3 years. He had 280 attempts for 1,692 yards with a 6-yard average. He also had 21 TDs. He didn't catch a lot of balls, though. He only had 15 receptions for 162 yards. With a 10-yard average and 3 more touchdowns. Why does everybody like this kid? Because he does something very special and will continue to do so in the NFL. He's a kickoff return specialist. How about 22 kickoff returns in his career for 794 yards? That's a 36-yard average with 3 TDs. He was number 1 in 2025 in the nation in kickoff returns average at 37.5 with 2 touchdowns. So this kid is a very good kickoff return specialist. That's why he has so much value in the NFL. Other guys we really like, I tell you what, this guy's really special. Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas. I tell you what, he tore it up at the combine. He played 5 years in college. 3 at Buffalo, 1 year at New Mexico State, and 1 year at Arkansas. He is 6'1", 203 pounds, redshirt senior. He ran a 4.33 40-yard dash at the combine. That's why everybody's all over this guy. In 51 games, he had 587 attempts for 2,914 yards. That's a 5-yard average. And 26 TDs. He can also catch the ball. He had 73 receptions for 470 yards. He had a 6.4 yard average with another 3 TDs. Fumbles are an issue, and they are wondering if he is a capable blocker in the NFL. This kid can also return kickoffs. He had 4 returns for 87 yards. That's a 21-yard average while at New Mexico State. He has potential to be a 3-down back if he gets his blocking and ball security under control. He's a day 2 pick in the NFL. And in your dynasty leagues, I'll tell you what, he's probably going to be a 2nd-round pick. We'll take a look at that later. And I'll tell you what, in your redraft leagues, this kid's going to be handcuffed to whoever drafts him in the NFL. Who else do we like? Well, I'll tell you what, man, you're going to hear a lot about Jonah Coleman out of Washington before the NFL draft and afterwards, because this guy is a good football player. Jonah Coleman played 4 years in college, 2 years at Arizona, 2 years at Washington. He's 5'8", 220-pound senior. He was a captain last year at the University of Washington. He did not run a 40 at the combine. He had 22 reps on the bench, which is really good. In 50 games, he had 552 attempts for 3,054 yards. That's a 5.5-yard average with 34 touchdowns. That tells me he's a goal line back. In 4 years, he only had 1 fumble in his career, which is amazing. And he's a powerhouse when it comes to blocking for the quarterback. So he is a 3-down back. That's what you want to hear today, because that means he's not coming off the field. He also can catch the ball. How about 87 receptions for 838 yards and a 9.6-yard average with 3 more TDs? He also does kickoff returns. How about 4 kickoffs returns for 83 yards? That's a 20.8-yard average while at Washington. He led the Big Ten with 17 TDs in 2025. He should be a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. It's hard to say. Might fall to that 4th round of the NFL draft because he did not run a 40. He will have to. So speed may be an issue with Jonah Coleman. Who else do we like? Well, I'll tell you what. You got to talk about Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska. Emmett Johnson played 4 years. He's 5'10", 202 pounds. He ran a 4.59 40-yard dash at the combine, and he only had 16 reps at the bench. We'd like to see that above 20. He is a consistent 3-down back, though, with soft hands, meaning he can catch the ball. He's a consistent pass blocker, but he's going to need work on the NFL to stay on the field all 3 downs. In 41 games, all at Nebraska, he had 458 attempts for 2,460 yards with a 5.4-yard average and 15 touchdowns. He managed to catch 92 passes for 702 yards with a 7.6-yard average and another 5 TDs. Most of these stats happened in the last 2 years at Nebraska. He can return kickoffs. He had 3 kickoff returns for 39 yards. That's a 13-yard average. He led the Big Ten in several categories, but the main one was his 1,451 yards rushing in 2025. Who else do we like? Hey, man, you got to talk about these 2 kids at Penn State, starting with this guy. How about Katron Allen? 4 years at Penn State, 5'11", 216 pounds senior. He did not run a 40 time, so speed is questionable. He is considered an excellent pass blocker. He will need to improve his receiving skills to be a 3-down back in the NFL, and the lack of speed will hurt him in the NFL draft in April. What did he do in 54 games at Penn State? Well, I'll tell you right now, he had 4 very productive seasons. He had 769 attempts for a whopping 4,180 yards. That's a 5.4-yard average. Well, get this, 39 touchdowns. So he averaged in 4 years 1,000 yards per season with about 10 touchdowns per season. That you don't hear that too often. Can he catch the ball? Yeah, it needs work. He had 70 receptions for 490 yards with a 7-yard average and another 4 touchdowns. He also returns kick. He had 3 kickoff returns for 41 yards. That's a 13.7-yard average. He's likely to be a day 3 pick in the NFL draft. In your dynasty leagues, he'll be picked up in round 2, and he's a late round handcuff in all your redraft leagues. He's got some work to do in the NFL. We really like Katron Allen. Okay, who else do we like in this year's NFL draft? How about this kid? He's my sleeper pick at running back. You need to know who he is. How about Nick Singleton out of Penn State? He shared the backfield with Katron Allen, but you wouldn't know it based on his stats. How about 4 years, 6 foot, 219 pounds senior? He had a problem at the Senior Bowl where he broke his foot. That is hampering his combine workout where he did not participate, in his pro day where he did not run his 40-yard dash, which I tell you, I'm hearing he ran a 4.4 in previous sessions in years past or faster. So he's very fast. He just didn't get a chance to prove that this year. He's a very good pass blocker, so he's got that going for him, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's considered a solid 3-down back, and he's a great kick returner too. In 53 games at Penn State while playing alongside Katron Allen, he had 622 attempts for 3,461 yards with a whopping 45 touchdowns. If you add the yards Katron Allen and Nick Singleton had together, how about 7,641 yards in just 4 seasons together, and a whopping 84 touchdowns while sharing the backfield together at Penn State. What did Nick Singleton do receiving the ball? Well, in 4 years, he caught 102 balls for 987 yards with a 9.7 yard average with another 9 TDs. So he has good hands. And like I said, he can return kicks. How about 48 returns for 1,138 yards? That's a 23.7 yard average. He doesn't return punts. He should be a day 2 pick in the NFL. However, with the foot injury, he may fall to be a day 3 pick. In your dynasty leagues, he's a solid 2nd round pick. And I tell you what, in your redraft leagues, I think this kid's going to be a great player. He does have some standalone value. I'd be taking him late in your fantasy football league drafts as a sleeper pick. Who else do we like? Well, we got some guys we want to talk about, but let's see where some of these guys are going in some of your fantasy football leagues prior to the NFL draft. Okay, here we are on a website called fantasypros.com. When you get a chance, you got to check them out. This is a rookies-only mock draft for dynasty leagues. They're going to show you where they're going in some of your fantasy leagues. I'll tell you what, as you can see here, Jeremiah Love is the first pick in every rookie draft. He's going to be highly sought after in all your redraft leagues too, early, probably in that 2nd round area. And then you got yourself later in the 1st round at pick 9 with Jonah Coleman out of Washington. We told you he's a 3-down back, along with Mike Washington at pick 10. He's a 3-down back. The thing these guys all have in common is they're not leaving the field, and they're good football players, and all of them can block, they can catch the ball, and they run the ball very well. If you go to the 2nd round, you can see we talked about Jadarian Price in the 2nd round at pick 3, Emmett Johnson at pick 4, and Nick Singleton at pick 5, along with Katron Allen at pick 7. These guys all have a lot of fantasy value. That's why they're being taken in the 2nd round in all your rookie dynasty league drafts. Followed by these guys we're getting ready to talk about quickly. Damon Claiborne in round 3, Jamari Tyler in round 3, and the last guy we're going to talk about today is Roman Hamby. We really like those guys. Let's go back to drafttech.com and see what these guys did in 2025. Okay, here we are back on Draft Tech, taking a look at some of the guys you're going to be picking up probably late in your drafts as handcuffs or on the waiver wire once the season starts. Starting with this guy, how about Damon Claiborne out of Wake Forest? This kid had an amazing combine. He's shooting up draft boards. He played 4 years at Wake Forest. He's 5'10", 188-pound redshirt senior. At the combine, he ran a 4.37 40-yard dash. He is not considered a good blocker, and he has ball security issues, which may drop him in the NFL draft. In 44 games, however, at Wake Forest, he had 558 attempts for 2,599 yards. That's a 4.7 yard average with 26 touchdowns. He can catch the ball. How about 55 receptions for 424 yards? That's a 7.7 yard average with 2 touchdowns. What else did he do well? How about kickoff returns? He had 22 kickoff returns for 579 yards. That's a 23.6 yard average and 2 touchdowns. So he has value as a kickoff returner. And where he's going to be tough to decide is where he's going to be in fantasy football. He's probably just a handcuff for now, but we'll see where he develops over the years. Who else do we like? How about this guy, Jamari Taylor out of Virginia? Played 5 years in college, 4 of them with North Carolina Central before he went to 1 year at Virginia. He's 5'10", 199 pounds. He did not participate in the combine in past 40-yard dashes. They said he is a sub 4.4 40-yard dash guy. He does have good effort as a pass blocker, so he may be a 3-down back. He only played 1 year at Virginia in 13 games. How about 222 attempts for 1,062 yards? In 2025, he had 14 touchdowns with 43 receptions and 253 yards with 1 touchdown. We'll see where Jamari Taylor goes in the NFL. It's probably going to be a late-round handcuff, or he's going to be maybe one of those guys you pick up on the waiver wire. And the last guy we want to talk about that you have to know about, because you're going to be picking this guy up on the waiver wire once the season starts, is how about Roman Hemby out of Indiana. He won a national championship with them in 2025. He played 5 years in college, 4 at Maryland, 1 at Indiana, where he shared the backfield with Kalon Black. Both were 1,000-yard rushers. Roman Hemby is 5'10", 211-pound redshirt senior. He did not participate in the combine, so we don't know what his 40-yard dash time is. He is a willing blocker, but he needs to work on it in the NFL. He is considered a 3-down back. In 5 years in college, he rushed for 3,467 yards with 29 touchdowns. He did catch 129 passes for 1,086 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's also a kickoff return specialist. He returned 16 kicks for 287 yards with a 17.9 yard average. He's going to be a day 3 pick. We'll see where he goes in the NFL. He's going to be a late round pick like we showed you in all your dynasty leagues. Keep an eye on Roman Hemby. There you have it. Those are some rookies that are going to impact fantasy football in the 2026 NFL draft coming up this year in April. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to catch what we do with all of our rookies that are going to impact fantasy football this year. I'm Buster Brown. The show is called Redemption Rehab. Good luck.